Gentleman's time's expired. I'll now go to Ms. Castor for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Hay, my colleagues in oil and gas companies would have us believe that the only way to achieve grid reliability is with dirty fossil fuels. I think that's dangerous and it's costly. In fact, a new scientific analysis finds that gas plants are particularly vulnerable to extreme weather events like heat waves and cold snaps, which are growing in severity and frequency amid the heating climate. Cold weather presents particular challenges. We saw the harsh conditions from the winter storm in 2021, again in 2022, where gas plant failures occurred at disproportionate rates relative to cleaner energy sources. In one case, over 240 people in Texas perished. It left families without power in freezing temperatures, and bills skyrocketed. What are the grid vulnerabilities associated with gas plants, and highlight how clean energy sources like wind, solar, batteries help support reliability and resilience?
Thank you, Representative. You know, in Colorado during Winter Storm Uri, our wind largely, stayed up and operational when the wind was blowing because we had appropriately weatherized and winterized plants. The same was true of our gas infrastructure in Colorado. We didn't experience the same problems that other states did. So I would say the first part of that is really important and adequate planning. To the earlier conversation about changing weather and changing climate, I think the utilities and utility regulators need to make sure that they are looking forward at the impacts of what the future weather may be, rather than looking backward and expecting that that's going to tell us what the weather will look like. So those are certainly two big components of that. With respect to the role of renewables, in Colorado, they performed when they were needed, and they provide a reliable asset to our utilities. I think it's really been about the integration and the planning of the weather. Xcel Energy, our largest investor-owned utility, has invested in some of the most sophisticated weather modeling among the utilities, and it really allows them to project and forecast very close in time when those resources will be available to them.
Thank you. Commissioner Pridemore, your testimony caught my eye because in it you claim that if a utility, say in this case Georgia Power, violates the law or an EPA rule, then, quote, customers are left to pay for the fines and any resulting costs from legal actions. Now that strikes me as a strange statement coming from a public utility commissioner, because the commission decides whether or not it's appropriate for Georgians to pay those costs on their power bill. It isn't something that's guaranteed. It's a choice that you and the utility commission would have to decide. Why do you think it's appropriate for Georgians to pay the cost of Georgia Power's lawsuits, and why should the utility be able to challenge the law using Georgia ratepayer dollars and also fund their lobbying and political expenses?
Thank you for the question. In the state of Georgia, Georgia Power has the legal right to seek rate recovery of the cost of operating their business, including lawsuits and the related costs for lawsuits, especially those that are brought up by unnecessary federal government actions.
Well, there's been a rash of scandals all across the country. I think everyone in the utility business understands what's happened in Ohio with First Energy. Florida Power and Light in my home state was found funding political consultants to fund ghost candidates to challenge legislative critics. Carolina Water, ComEd in Illinois, New York, and with National Fuel, Michigan. And now in Georgia, the Southern Company, the parent company of Georgia Power, has been actively engaged in lobbying against new transmission lines and other cleaner, cheaper energy sources. Southern reported spending $191 million in activities related to political influence from 2015 to 2020 alone in annual filings to FERC, far more than other utilities. Has the Georgia Public Service Commission approved the use of ratepayer funds for lobbying and other political activities?
As much as I can see from afar issues that have happened and occurred in other states. That's not the reality that I have in Georgia. So,
Well,
you're-
did the
you're-
commission approve those?
Your-
And here, you don't have, answer for the record because I'm running out of time. Many people don't think that's fair. And it's costing electric bills to go sky high. And I know that in Colorado, Mr.
John
Mayor,
Lay's time's expired.
you've passed a law to prevent that. And I've also filed a new Ethics and Energy Act. And I'd like you all to comment on the record with a follow-up question to you on the appropriateness of those kind of funds.
I'd like to address the question.
John Lay's time's expired.